morning, it's Wake Up Nigeria. We have an exciting lineup for you.
Yes, we do. We have a performance for you by Lily Perez that promises to be exciting.
We have a feature for you on how best to take care of your underarms. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, Nigerians call it armpit, but
Yeah,
you know.
underarms.
And of course, we have Nollywood's very own Ego Boyo joining us right here for a chat. I'm excited about that one.
Yes, sir. Speaking of things that are exciting.
Ego Boyo joining us right here for a chat. I'm excited about that one.
Yes, sir. Speaking of things that are exciting, that food is exciting my insides right now. As in, I don't know. Beyonce, what are you doing?
Seems the most excited because
yes, because I love coconut rice. Coconut rice is one of my favorite dishes. So,
oh,
yeah.
goodness me.
But there was something you said.
I'm slowed.
Okay, a lot of people, like, you get everything that, you know, we're in the age of fast food, so everything is already set, prepared and all of that. So the milk is prepared, everything, you just, I know that there are some people that, there are some ingredients, you just put everything inside at once and just cover the pot.
That's concoction now.
Okay, that sounds like what Mike does.
It doesn't sound like what I do. It's actually what I do.
Mike, do you cook? Do you cook?
Come on, really?
Do you
gave us noodles the other day. I did noodles. Is that not?
Is noodles food?
Really? What is that?
Okay, this debate on whether noodles is food should not start up on this show.
So speaking of food, today is World Heart Day.
Yeah.
Mike pointed our attention to it.
So you were talking about exercise and all of that. I know what we did today, the punching. And I actually didn't know that there was a lot you could do with gloves. Even if there's no punching bag. You know, the point is, at every day you should get your heart palpitating fast.
And then it's very unfortunate. A few days ago, there was a report that Lagos is tops the list of the most stressful countries and states, you know, in the world.
But there are many things who are topping the list. Stressful is one, while the third worst place to drive in.
To live in as well.
Yeah, to live in, to drive in. I think
who puts together all these statistics?
Honestly,
really,
who
puts together these things?
Okay, the funny thing.
Because I can give you a couple of capitals, world capitals that are worse than Lagos.
Okay, you know what? Let's pick out what are the great things about Lagos. Let's start with let's.
There are so many opportunities in Lagos.
Number one.
So I think that's why a lot of people come to Lagos and they are thriving and they are excelling. You know, so in every little way you would always find, you know, something to do, you know, something to live on, you know, and that. People are always there to lend a helping hand. Sometimes.
Exactly.
If you have a dream in Lagos, it will come to pass.
Yeah.
If you keep at it, whether you want to be an actor or a musician, whatever it is that you want to do, and you're in Lagos, you keep at it for long enough, you're going to succeed.
But one thing I love about living in Lagos is that once you go to any other country in the world,
you can survive there.
It easy.
Yeah.
Because you've been trained in the hustle. No matter where you go, you will survive. And Nigerians end up surviving in different countries all around the world.
Living in Lagos is like a boarding school.
And I love that it's no man's land. Why do I say so? You go to some other places, you have some places that are so indigenous in such a way that it's quite obvious that there are the indigens and then there are the rest. But Lagos, like I said, there's
everyone is
equal
one
opportunity for everyone. So there's nowhere else I could be in Nigeria.
Yeah, but of course, Lagos is known for traffic. Like what is happening right now on Ikorodu Road.
We should take care on the roads if you're heading out right now.
But it's the top of the hour, and we'll be bringing you the news updates as we usually do. And Fadi is right here to take it away.
I'm Fadi Shalasha on the news this hour. Boko Haram militants have killed 3 persons and set fire to scores of homes in a raid in the Baga area of Borno State. According to the information minister for the Guzamala local government area in the state, the attackers stormed the village in the afternoon of Wednesday in trucks and motorcycles, attacking Goram and 2 neighboring villages, Lingis and Ajidari. The insurgents also looted food stores before setting them on fire. It is not clear which faction of the Boko Haram sect is responsible for the attack. That attack came as 2 persons were killed when a convoy of vehicles hit landmines on the road from the Borno state capital to Dikwa. Suicide bombings against civilian targets, particularly in and around camps for the displaced, remain common. The governors of the 36 states have asked the federal government to give them control over some of the federal roads in their states. This was part of their demands at the National Economic Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the presidential villa in Abuja Thursday. The council members expressed concern over roads construction, damage and maintenance and suggested that the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing come up with strategies to regulate the weight of heavy-duty vehicles plying the roads. NEC also expressed the willingness to take a holistic approach on the issue of federal roads across the country. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has unveiled a complex in honor of officers who died during an armed robbery attack at a branch of Zenith Bank, Owerri, in February. Inaugurating the complex at the Squadron 20, Ikeja, Lagos, the police boss said it was in honor of the two gallant mobile police officers, Chukwudi Iboko and Sunday Agbo. According to the IGP, the officers were honored because they were patriotic in their discharge of duties. While commending the commandant, he clarified the issue of roadblocks in the country. The Association of Advertising Agencies in Nigeria has expressed a desire to see improved tolerance around the country. Unveiling its Unity campaign, the group noted that events of the last couple of weeks have caused tension across the country, and there is the need to promote a culture of tolerance, cohesion and reconciliation amongst the various tribes across Nigeria. They noted that the campaign with the hashtag Stronger Together will promote national coexistence and help Nigerians resolve their differences. The national president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, says failing infrastructure and high interest rates are killing local industries. The MAN president, Jacobs Udemba, stated this while speaking with newsmen in Ilorin, Kwara State, where he noted that locally made goods can compete in the international market, but government has to assist with provision of infrastructure and also compel commercial banks to bring down the interest rates. And that's the news this hour. Up next is weather.
It's time again for sports, and Super Mike is back.
You know, we're joking about the weather. A number of people need to take care, or, you know, take more time to look at the weather forecast. You could plan your day better.
Yeah.
Okay, but then it's sports we're talking. And of course, it's the weekend. Premier League season is 7 weeks old, but the big questions are piling up for the big sides. A high-flying Manchester United, the red-hot favourites for the title. And can Jurgen Klopp fix Liverpool? Will Jose Mourinho get it right this second season at United? Let's take a stock of all these and other European League actions that will happen this weekend.
Chelsea will take on Manchester City at Stamford Bridge in the peak of the Premier League's Week 7 fixtures on Saturday. Pep Guardiola's men have netted 22 times from the 5 matches thus far in September. Both teams come into this contest on the back of excellent wins in their last league outings, with Chelsea thrashing Stoke 4-0 and City going one better against Palace.
By Johnson, Morata takes on Fletcher, he'll beat him for pace. De Bruyne with pace on the delivery.
The Citizens have won all 3 of their away games this season, but these will be their biggest away test of the campaign so far.
He's looking for Kennedy. Super goal.
Chelsea are quietly putting together another good season, although they are flying under the radar because of the progress of the two Manchester clubs this season.
Silva spotted the run of Sané, who might keep going.
City are averaging over 3 goals per game, and they have been solid at the back as well. They could give the Blues an uncomfortable afternoon at Stamford Bridge.
De Bruyne.
Blint. Decent cross in, met brilliantly by Lukaku.
Manchester United will hope to capitalise on their pair potentially dropping points against one another when they welcome Crystal Palace, a side that is yet to register a goal or a point this season. It will be another difficult test for Palace at Old Trafford, and they will have to massively improve if they hope to avoid a humiliating defeat in the manner they received from City.
Over it goes, Aguero gets his goal.
Elsewhere, Tottenham travel to Huddersfield while West Ham United and Swansea City face off. Leicester City and Bournemouth will trade tackles at the Vitality Stadium as Stoke City hosts Southampton. On Sunday, Newcastle United host Liverpool as Jurgen Klopp will desperately hope his side can keep things tight at the back. Arsenal take on Brighton at the Emirates while Everton play Burnley. In Spain, Sevilla will host Malaga, who have lost 5 out of their 6 matches and drawn the other one. Sevilla have won 4 of their 6 matches. Atletico Madrid face Leganes, who are 7th on the table. Also on Saturday, Deportivo will host Getafe and Alaves travel to Levante. On Sunday, Real Madrid will seek to improve this weekend when they host Espanyol as they seek to cut down the 7-point gap between them and leaders Barcelona. Barca will also be hosting Las Palmas, who have been poor starters in the league with 4 losses in 6 games. Other games on Sunday will see Valencia face Athletic Bilbao, Real Sociedad play Real Betis, and Eibar will be guest at Villarreal. Just 2 matches are on the card in Italy on Saturday. Udinese welcomes Sampdoria, while Bologna will be on the road to Genoa. On Sunday, Napoli will be fighting to maintain their lead when they host Cagliari, while Juventus will be attempting to topple Napoli with a trip to Atalanta. Other games on Sunday will see Benevento tackle Inter Milan, big spenders AC Milan will host Roma, Kiev will entertain Fiorentina. It's Lazio against Sassuolo, while Verona will be guests at Torino. In France, PSG will hope to recover from their unimpressive goalless draw last weekend against Montpellier, which was their worst performance of the season so far. This time, they host Bordeaux. Nantes face Metz. It will be Wingham against Toulouse, while Lille and Caen will be guests of Amiens and Rennes, respectively.
That's all you need. The weekend is set for you. You can catch up any of those games. And, of course, Yomi and Titi up next with the papers this morning.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's going to be a busy weekend.
It is. So I'll get ready for... Okay, Sunday is Independence, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Monday we'll have our own Independence groove here.
I can see
nice.
you're wearing the right shirt today, you know? Yeah?
Getting ready.
Yes, so getting set.
For Nigeria, Zambia.
We'll whoop them. That's it, that's it, that's it.
All right. So we need to go through today's papers as quickly as possible. On the cover of this day, it says, Kano, Katsina, Nasarawa, reject restructuring, devolution of power. Benue, Plateau say it's the way to go. Restructuring will not lead to Nigeria's breakup, says Mwabweze. There's also a story here. Says Fayose declares for presidency and vows to sack Buhari on page 57. You can read more about that. Facebook, Google, others confirm Nigeria's request for user information. There's a bit more about that on page 54. All of that in this day.
And then on the cover of The Punch this morning, we have the kicker, alleged 7 billion naira bailout scam. Ekiti Commissioner, Accountant General arrested as Fayose declares presidential bid. I cannot be intimidated, Governor tells EFCC. And then also governors to seek handover of deplorable federal roads. And then Nigeria's economy still vulnerable to shocks, says Udo Udoma there. And then finally, Kaduna gets warrant to arrest northern youth leaders.
On the cover of the Vanguard, terror tag. Federal government tackles U.S. on IPOB. Says U.S. position on IPOB unfortunate, unacceptable, and explains why it labeled IPOB a terrorist group. There's also a story in the Vanguard about the strike. Patients groan as federal government health workers meeting ends in a deadlock. Senate passes anti-kidnapping bill, prescribes 30-year jail for accomplices. That's on page 9. And on Naira Watch, Naira appreciates to $359.66 in NAFEX.
And then finally, on the cover of The Nation, we have the headline, Presidency, Buhari not opposed to restructuring. And then Senate okays death for kidnappers. And then finally, mixed reactions as Fayose opens presidential race. All right, all on the cover of The Nation this morning.
And that's it for now on the newspaper headlines, proudly brought to you by Dettol. Be 100% sure.
Time now for a short break, and when we return, Mike will be standing by with the lovely Lily Perez, who will be performing for us.
Welcome back. And now Lily Perez is a Nigerian gospel artist with a burning passion for worship. She survived a fire accident in her home that she described as a turning point in her life and her music, and that inspired her to complete her album. It is great to have you, Lily Perez.
Thank you so
I can't
much,
wait to hear your story, but then that will be after your performance, right?
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord, for blessing me day and night abundantly. Things you do for me, I cannot tell it all. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me. You never take your eyes off me. Words will never be enough to say. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me. Olúwa gbà ọpẹ́ mi o, Jésù. Mojúbà rẹ o, Jésù. Ó gbọ́ àdúrà mi o, Jésù. I see your hand on me, oh, Jesus. I see your hand on me, oh. Well, put your hands together. Oh, 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 where you dance. I just want to thank you, Lord. Oh, oh. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Oh, you are God for me. I just want to give you praise, yeah. Olúwa gbà ọpẹ́ mi o, Jésù. Mojúbà rẹ o, Jésù. Ó gbọ́ àdúrà mi o, Jésù. See your hand on me, oh, Baba me. just want to thank you, Lord, for everything you've done for me. I just want to say, thank you, Lord, thank you.
Okay, lovely, 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 lovely. Wow, I got everybody in the studio. We all loved this performance.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much.
So, what inspired this song? I know a lot. Your album was completed after the incident, but this particular song, what are the lyrics? What does Oluwa Bagbomi? What does that mean?
Okay, it means Lord, receive
wow.
my praise. Yes.
Wow. And what inspired the lyrics of this particular song?
It's a Thanksgiving song.
Okay.
He always hears our prayers.
Okay.
You know, I had a fire accident, as you know, at my home, and I was literally on fire, and I thought I was going to die. You know,
what caused the incident? How did it happen?
My house help at home forgot to turn off the gas after using it, so I had a busy day, came home to get ready to go for church, and I just started smelling something was burning. You know, and I have a year old. My son is about a year plus.
Okay.
So I'm just grateful that he didn't, you know, run into the kitchen. Nothing happened to him. I was one who took the hit.
When did this happen?
In February this year.
This year?
This year, yes.
Wow. And you've been able to overcome this and all of that. Now, okay, now let's talk about to other people. And it was an accident, and some people get to question God or question life when things happen like this. What do you say to people when this kind of thing happens? And I want to encourage someone out there. What do you tell people who have had accidents like this, how they can stand up, move forward, and, you know, pick it up from there?
First of all, it could have been worse, so you need to just be grateful. For me, what I did was I just put myself on full gratitude mode. I keep telling people gear 4 straight. Wow. You know, if not gear 4, you know, you don't need to, no one to just straight up. You know, if not, you end up getting into depression, and then you keep asking why, and then, you know, yes, so that's what I did. I was just grateful because it could have been worse. I could have died.
Yeah, the pick up I like from that is it could have been worse. It could have been worse. So there's something to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's talk about the album. Now the album is complete and all of that.
Yes.
Okay, so how many tracks do you have in the album?
15 tracks.
Okay, now this is real gratitude. 15 tracks is really something.
15 tracks, yes.
And all that. And when did you complete it? What time? When did you finish the album? And how is it? How can people access, get the album?
Okay, I finished it about a month ago.
Okay.
So when I was in my sick bed, or on my sick bed, and you know, that's when I completed the album.
And you were still recording?
Yes, in fact, that's when the inspiration came to complete all songs, you know.
Isn't that something?
Yes,
Isn't
that's
that
when
something?
I finished it.
Isn't that something? Okay, and so now it's available, right?
It's available on all online platforms, iTunes, Deezer, Spotify. They're already on the road right now, so a couple of people have called me and say, yeah, we saw your album on the road.
How's the response been? I know your story with the album. How's the response been from the general public? How have they taken your story and the album?
People have been very supportive, especially friends of mine who are artists or even the gospel music industry. A lot of people didn't know. I didn't tell them because I wanted to share it as a testimony rather than getting a pity party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody heard it and people were shocked. This happened to you. So the response, the support has been massive.
It has been.
Yes,
it has been.
Yes, and the support, like from you guys, you invited me here for this interview. It's a huge.
You have a lovely voice, so it's not about. This is not about a pity party. You have a lovely voice, lovely song. We didn't dance because we're trying to. No, we danced because it was a lovely song. Thank you very much. All the best. Wishing you the best. And okay, just future plans. Just very short. Do you have what are your future plans? What are you looking forward to?
Okay, I intend having a concert next year, sometime for early next year. I don't want to give a specific date yet. And more recording, more videos, and reaching out to people.
I'm looking forward to that concert.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was great having you in the studio.
Thank you
All right, thank you. That was an amazing performance, amazing chat with Lily Perez. And now let's get to Yomi and Titi. They have something coming up for us. This is quite interesting. You don't want to miss this.
Thanks so much, Mike, and thank you, Lily Perez, for that beautiful voice this morning.
Amazing song.
Uplifting and, of course, inspiring story that she has for us there.
Now, certain parts of the body are harder to take care of than certain other parts. The underarms especially require special attention to get them looking and, of course, smelling fresh and clean.
In this hot Lagos.
Yes, sir. Take a look at this package on how to look after them.
Women sure know how to dazzle when they step out, looking good enough to keep heads turning with lovely hair, nice clothes, flashy jewelry, and great makeup, all for the eyes to see. Hidden away from plain sight are areas which may not look as good, like the armpits.
This particular area of the body should not only be kept clean, but also must be free of any form of odor. It shows a proper hygiene of the person. And in situations where you are not staying in an office where you have a hair condition, it might be very difficult to do that. So in that way, what you need to do is, as much as possible, keep the place clean. How do you do that? Make sure the hair in the area is shaved. Either you use a shaving stick, you can use the shaving cream, depending on which one is appropriate for you. In addition to that, you keep the place dry. There are different methods where we can use to make sure the place is dry. Some you can have a special handkerchief, not the one you use in cleaning your face that you use in cleaning your armpits. No, that would be very wrong. If possible, at interval, make sure the special towel that you're using for this area, put soap in the area, a very nice, maybe antiseptic soap. Use it to wipe the area clean, dry it. Some use things like dusting powders also to the dusting powder. What it does is to mop up excess water because it has talc inside of it. So it absorbs excess water from the area, and in that way keep the amount of water in that area low.
Yes, I do shave my armpits. Yes, I shave my armpits for cleanliness. I shave it because of the odor, one, and so that it will keep it clean. And from some disease like bacteria in the armpits.
I shave my armpits because it's hygienic.
I don't like it airy. As in, I do shave it like every weekend, 7 days.
To avoid sweat and to make you look neat. Sometimes people use antiperspirants. It's not good. So for me, I would advise everybody to shave. Anyone to shave. Because when you leave the hair, it's when you start sweating to stain your clothes.
If you ever get tired of dealing with pubic hair yourself, laser is an option to explore.
What laser has been built to do is that you shoot a particular wavelength to that area of the body. It not only destroys the pigment on top of the skin, it also goes to the base of the root of the hair and cause destruction, because the hair actually has what we call melanin, which is in the roots of the hair. So in that process, with multiple laser treatments, you not only get the place clean, you also stop the hair growing in that area.
Dark armpits may be considered a thing of shame until you find out that it's really not your fault.
The reason why they have the darkness is because of continued irritation of the armpit. Which sometimes we call folliculitis, because the hair itself, when you either use a shaving stick, the shaving cream and things like that, they get irritated. So the skin in that area also gets irritated, So in the process of doing that, what the body does is to produce a lot of melanin in that area. So melanin production is increased, and with increased production of melanin, the area actually gets dark.
Shaving still remains a choice, one that these women would rather stick to.
Those that don't shave, I feel if they keep the hair, when they sweat, the place becomes dirty and smelly. Well, I can say it depends on people. And some use roll-on, why they don't shave. But some shave to make it clean and has a good odor.
It's a put off for me. I don't really like it. Dirty, and that's my own personal decision. I don't know about others, but to me personally, I like it when it's shaved clean. I think it gives more courage to be free to do anything you want to do.
In some instances, when you have to pull off your shirts, maybe even the person that is an actor or in a particular role, and your armpit, except you have been asked to act that role where you have to keep your armpits, maybe in the village, where all those access to shave, even now in the village, there are access to shaving stick, because those things are really, really very cheap, or shaving powder and things like that. Those things are really, really cheap. So, but for me, it doesn't look nice enough in the real sense of it, in terms of hygiene, or the sweating, you know. Even if the person is using 24 hours, you know, once in a while when you raise your armpit, you have a lot of hair, very bushy area. It doesn't really make sense. So it's better for the person to just have, you know, even if it is not using a shaving stick or cream, you can just simply trim it.
When armed with information, anything is achievable, and that includes an armpit that can be flaunted anywhere and anytime.